This is All Sports All the Time, episode 16 of season 2, and we are continuing our summer sportscaster series. It's September at this point. We're still going, but we're not going to complain that a bunch of sportscasters want to be on the show. So it's going to keep going. It could keep going into the fall. We might get to the winter. Who knows? If sportscasters want to keep coming on, we're going to keep having them on. So this week, our Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting program member is Elijah Loyola. Thank you for joining us, Elijah. If you could just give everyone a brief introduction of yourself, where you're from, teams you root for, just all the basic info.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Owen. Hey, guys. My name is Elijah Loyola. I was born in Tampa, Florida. I joined this program, because I want to enjoy sports in a different perspective. I think it's a great aspect to learn from. For teams, I'm a Tampa Bay fan. I love the Bucks. I love the Lightning. I love the Rays. But I also like other teams from across the leagues too. I love all Philadelphia teams well. I love the Bay teams with the Niners and the Warriors. And I respect all of the teams, you know what? But, I'm all Tampa Bay. It's first stuff. But I respect any other teams that can go get it,
I love that. There's a lot of love coming right now. I can feel the love, it's a Philly. And, I really appreciate it, Elijah, honestly.
Yeah, no worries, Parker. I got a lot of friends in Philly. There's a lot of love. I feel a lot of love from Philly, too. I've always wanted to visit. I'm in the winter. I'm going to Virginia, so I'm not too far from outside of Philadelphia. And I'm going to plan a visit to a friend of mine who's got a business working up there. She's still in college, too. So I'm going to play a visit over there, Might try one of those patented special original Philly cheesesteaks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go. Philly, you got to visit Philly. Driving through there, Philly at nighttime, with all the lights on all the buildings lit up.
Well, a lot of people would say driving through Philly at nighttime is dangerous, but it does look pretty.
It looks nice. No, I'm serious.
You can't have something with both its good without the bad, right?
I guess, yeah. Yeah.
That's true. Some areas are good, some areas are bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's nice to have someone who, respects Philly, because there's a lot of people who want to come at Philly. So this is a nice change of pace. We appreciate that.
And maybe when you stop over, you can see Meek Mill. He walks the streets over there. You might be able to just catch a glimpse.
True.
Nightmares, baby.
Alrighty, then. I'll make sure to keep that in notice then.
Yeah, there you go.
For sure.
Yeah,
no problem.
You're one of the 2 people in our group of people who go through the program together, our month, basically, because we're on a month-by-month track. One of the 2 from Florida, Jake, we've already had on the podcast. So with this episode, we have now officially had both of the Florida residents from our group, Full Sail obviously being in Florida. So we've had both of the Florida residents on the podcast. A lot of the people in our group are from more like Northeast, which is interesting. But yeah, we've got 2 local Florida men in our group. Do you feel like you've ever been accused of the Florida man stereotypes in any way? Or I think it's more Nick than you, but
frankly, no. I have not been stereotyped as a Florida man, though. Yet I have some of the ideals of it. I know the weather. I know what kind of beaches are the best out there. But no, I've never been directly targeted for that kind of thing. So it's kind of
nice,
weird, but good at the same time.
Yeah, I would say that's I don't know if I would really necessarily want to be considered a Florida man. So I would say it's more of a negative stereotype than a positive one. So that's totally fine.
And
us now.
If you are viewing us, Luke Paglia has joined the pod. Luke, we're happy we're happy you're here. How you feeling right now?
Busy and have a lot to do, but I can spare a few minutes.
Let's go.
Luke, the college student, can spare a few minutes for us. He is officially... Oh, we should have said Luke joining live from campus.
Reporting live.
Yeah.
Reporting live from Grove City, number 29.
41.
I've never ever worn the number 29 in any sport that I've played.
Yeah, Luke, this is your first episode. Yeah, 41. This is your first episode as a college student, Luke. Does it feel different?
Yeah, I feel more stressed. Like I have less time for this now, but
An honest answer.
yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Well, you only missed out on a little bit of our questions to Elijah. We just talked about he's from Tampa, Florida, so he's one of the few people in our class who's actually like from Florida, here in Florida. But he respects Philly, which is a nice change of pace because, a lot of people come on here, they're like, Philly, nobody likes them. So we appreciated that.
Yeah.
And Luke, there's a saying that I have, stress is the best. It rhymes,
Does it, Renan?
Yes, it does.
If you're,
I don't know about that.
Say stressed is the best.
Don't think about it too hard. So,
And never
Elijah,
that before. That's never heard it like that.
Marker's got a lot of sayings. I don't blame you.
why did
I'm pretty sure all said a lot of things during our program here, Full Sail, and yet we never created a book about it, even though some say we should have.
Yeah, we have a lot of random quotes from our group as well. It's like that, yeah. Some people just say crazy things.
That's true.
Yeah.
Elijah, I think you answered this a little bit, but why did you end up what was kind of the deciding factor that made you, decide to go to Full Sail?
So this kind of goes to a little backstory here. As a kid, I grew up in a very sports-related background. My mom is from Cuba, so I had a baseball background from her, and my dad was Peruvian in South America, so a soccer background came from him as well. So that was the starting off first. I played Little League Baseball, and I was really good, yet, for one reason, my height, I was at least maybe 5 inches taller than all my other friends in baseball. So I was a big guy playing it for some weird reason, and I was really good. Then I didn't play any sports in middle school because I was like a real smart kid, one focus in studies, get the best, move out. And then high school, it's kind of the same thing too. Until my senior year, I decided I need some more community hours, and I decided to work with my high school football team. I met the coach for my school, and we became good friends. He gave me a lot of community hours. He taught me a lot of the football aspects. And you know what? I started to like football even before that because I learned from my grandfather, who was a Marine in Vietnam, was a New York Giants fan. So he liked the Giants way before back then. And he watched both those Super Bowls with Eli Manning beating Tom Brady, and he's been a fan since then. And I watched Payne's Super Bowl against the Panthers in 2015 with him. That was the first game I watched, and football followed me all the way from there. Now, after helping out with my high school as the equipment manager, my coach talked to USF, which was the college I wanted to attend to here in Florida. Had a pretty good team, and I called the coach as well. He gave me a position to work on their staff. And I wanted to go USF, but I decided to hold it off because I wanted to see what else was out there. Then sometime later, my mom got something from Full Sail. And I said, what is this place? It says it's a private university, has all this stuff. And I looked at it and said, oh, this is Sportscasting. And I decided to go to one of their tours out there, take a look at it. And I was immediately hooked on it. Immediately saying, this is what I want to do. I called the coach. I told him, I'm sorry, I only accept this position because I'm doing this. But I told him I wish you all the luck. And it was all good from there. I still have his number. And now being here all this time, I've enjoyed it so much. And I still have my coach's number. And what's so funny was that I realized back in the week 2 of the preseason between the Jets and Bucks, my high school coach was on the broadcast for the Jets calling the game. It was absolutely hilarious. And I had to text him and call them and say all this stuff. I told him I want to meet up here back in Florida and have him meet all my friends here at Full Sail to get that experience of a broadcaster out there as well as a former coach. So, it's had a long backstory, but I'm glad to be where I am at this point.
That's awesome. Wow, that's so cool that you made some really cool connections in high school, and then it's crazy that you were set on a different school too, and then Full Sail kind of jumped in there, and you visited and kind of liked it, ever since that point. It's really cool.
Yeah, I wanted to get into technology as a kid, but it never quite appeased to me fully at that point. So that's why I was just kind of holding back on signing with UCF before, thinking about if I really wanted to go there.
That is so cool. And the coach, like, what are the odds that you saw that game and realized that your coach was on the call, or not the coach was on the call? That's really awesome. And did you tell him like that I'm trying to do the same thing? Like, we at Full Sail, we get to broadcast games here. That's a cool connection.
Yeah, I told him that. I told him, I want to have him here, come for a visit here, let him meet all you guys, and have that perspective too. Because apart from that, I also know his son. We're very good friends with each other. Rocco Beck, he is now a quarterback at Iowa State, Newton High School. He got a full ride there, and he is such a great player. And I cannot wait for that moment when I'm doing my job, and I'm going to be there, seeing him get drafted soon to the NFL, if he ever goes. It's going to be a pretty good moment saying, I knew this man in high school. This man has the work ethic, and he can totally lead the team. It's going to be crazy.
Nice. Could you tell us, as sportscasters, we're going to be given takes quite often. Could you tell us what your best ever sports take has been? Not necessarily like official one, but just like talking with friends, like you're just talking about sports and you say something that might be controversial or like is a hot take. Your best ever take, and then to, humble you a little bit, your worst ever take where you're just like completely wrong.
So I would say my best take was back in the 2017 season, and it was right about the playoffs. And I was looking at the NFC, and I thought to myself, and I was doing it with my friends and all during there, and I said, I'm going to tell you what, 2017 playoffs, New England is going to go back to the Super Bowl. And you know what? I didn't like it at the time because I was a New England hater, but I was respect for Tom Brady at the time. And then I said, and they asked me, who do you think is going to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC? And I threw a gamble. And that's when I said the Philadelphia Eagles. And lo and behold, those two teams met. And I was like, yes. It was perfect. And they won it all in such a great fashion. It was a great Super Bowl. And I reveled in it and saying that was the best. As for the worst, that's pretty much that. I think that one was probably say back in maybe a couple of years ago. I said when the Rays made the World Series, they would sweep the Dodgers, because I know saying we were the best playing that year. We were so good. We were going to win the World Series against the Dodgers, and then we got crushed. And I was like, damn. So it's also the same year, because that was like that year I also mentioned saying that Tampa's going to win it all that whole year. The Bucs won the Super Bowl. Lightning won the Stanley Cup. Rays going to win the World Series. And then I was like, Rays kind of flopped on it. All because of a bad call for the pitch out from Kevin Cash. Taking out Glasnow.
Let down.
It was terrible. I had no reason why he took Glasnow at that moment. And that moment screwed us all over for it. But still, AL Conference champs, I'll take it. I'll take it that time. If I knew the Rays were going to win the World Series, Tampa won't exist ever again. That year will never existed.
Oh, man. Well, I've had some pretty similar takes, honestly, with Philly. I was, I think they're going to win the Super Bowl every year, and this year, 100% they're winning the Super Bowl. Like, that'll be a really, really good take in a year. But, I said, I said something about DK Metcalf back in the day. I don't remember that one, but
I think you said DK Metcalf was going to be really good. You also said Jamar Chase was going to be a bust. So, like,
Jamar Chase
out.
You said Jamar Chase is going to be a bust? Looking back now, that's pretty stupid.
There's some hits and there's some misses.
He also that one. I'm actually, honestly, I'm still on that one.
All right, don't double down.
I'm totally down.
Oh my
God. I mean, I still remember that whole controversy thing when they said the Bengals took Chase instead of a tackle at that time.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Worked out for the better. It worked out for the better for them in that case.
No, that Jamar is still a bust. He had
All right.
a couple good games so far. He's already starting to have injuries. Like, I mean, the writing's on the wall already.
Sure. I don't know if this is a good move, Parker.
I mean, if you're still going with that, I mean, this is the question: would you take Chase or would you take Jefferson? If you two of them with you, who would you take first? If you're still going with yours, Tracy, Jefferson over Jamar Chase.
I don't think, honestly, I don't think I would ever draft Jamar Chase in Dynasty because I just know that his career is going to be over after one or two more seasons.
Definitely. Yeah. My favorite Parker take of all time is kind of two takes. When Carson Wentz was struggling, Luke and I were like, we got to get rid of Carson Wentz. Like, this is getting bad. Carson Wentz is falling apart. And Parker's like, nope, I trust Carson Wentz. We have a clip of Parker saying he trusts Carson Wentz more than Patrick Mahomes. And he was wrong about that. But then as soon as the Eagles pivoted to Jalen Hurts, we also have a clip of Parker saying Jalen Hurts is taking this team to the Super Bowl. And Luke and I being like, no, that's ridiculous, Parker. So he really made up for it. As soon as the Eagles switched to Jalen Hurts, Parker switched to Jalen Hurts and was like, I'm all in. So that one worked out.
Undying optimism in the Philadelphia Eagles. 50% of the time it works out.
50% of the time it works every time.
Yeah.
That's the key with optimism.
Yeah. No, I'm fully enveloped that the Eagles should be back in the Super Bowl, and I would say they're definitely going back to the conference championship. And I would say it might definitely be against San Francisco again. Mm-hmm. Being as a great team they are, it might be a repeat of it. All right, they're only the top two teams in football. They're only the top two. That's it.
We'll get to that a little later.
Parker,
no, we're talking about football. That's what I mean. I'm excited for that. Elijah, what are your goals in life and then also in the sports industry? What are you hoping to accomplish in the future, and what are you kind of striving for?
So, I mean, my goal in life is I want to live a good life. I want to live happy. I want to live fulfilled. I want to be in a great environment with all my friends, who are doing what they love, and I want to do what I love too. As for this program where I'm doing it, I have ambitions to do it. I want to be in the booth. I want to do play-by-play. I want to be the color. I want to learn, do all this stuff. I also want to be a sideline reporter. I like having like what you guys are doing. My own podcast is the future. I got a few guys who want to join me in this kind of stuff too, but I'm still working at the kinks for myself. But I have high expectations for myself, and seeing how we're in the program, getting to this kind of stuff, I'm totally eager to start working here and start working out. My dream goal is to work out in California for the NFL Network as a sports analyst and as a play-by-play, but that's the bar. But I also have a setting stone for myself. We have a teacher named Rishi, who is our final teacher for the program, and he has worked in multiple stations in downtown Tampa, covering the Bucks, the Rays, the Lightning, the Rowdies, all these teams. And I've been in conversations with them saying, that's my stepping stone. I want to start here in Tampa, be home, get used to the fact of working as a job, living in an apartment, doing the work here for the company. And then as I get gradually better and better, I want to aim higher and get higher. And to that point, working for the NFL Network, that's where I want to end it right here. That's my end goal to where I want to work.
Wow. That's pretty awesome. It's cool how, like you have kind of like steps and like areas that you want to like get better in, and then bang, NFL Network is kind of the top bar right there. And NFL Network is pretty sick. I mean, there's a lot of people that watch the NFL Network.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I like how specific that goal is. Like when we ask that question to people, a lot of people, myself included, like, I don't know if I have a super specific target that I'm trying to hit. And that's a lot of people's answers tend to be nothing wrong with it, but a lot of people's answers tend to be a little more vague. But that's really cool. You've got like, this is what I'm shooting for. And so you've got a very specific target for yourself, which is very cool.
Of course, I mean, I still will watch and learn all sports. I mean, I won't discount the fact, but it's just the sport that of football I'm most comfortable with. In that point, I mean, I'm starting into learning all these other sports too, and I wouldn't mind doing projects and shows and segments on those kind of stuff as well. But football's just that main goal for me. For me, on the others, my grandfather was like, for me, football is life. Hey, if there ain't no football, I got nothing else to live for. I can't live without it. But that's just this kind of thing for me. And it's been kind of that way for ever since I started Full Sail out there. It's been that way.
Yeah. So, Elijah, great to be talking to you. So, we've heard a lot of stories from Owen about his time in Full Sail, and he's got a lot of great things to share. So, I want to hear from you. What has been your best Full Sail story, your best experience down in Full Sail?
Let's see, best experience. I mean, there have been plenty of good experiences out in Full Sail, but you know what? I would probably say might not be one, it might be a lot, where in some months, Owen knows this too, it's that final class that we were in the studio doing our final projects, like intro, broadcast writing, those were the best moments. It's like seeing how our progress is, we're getting deep into these stories and then we're working out so well. It's just that, I mean, in broadcast writing, we had to read our stories. It was pretty amazing. Like, a lot of us did so good. We have like Owen knows JP at the time, 23, I didn't even know that, but he did so good in that class. He literally bombed it, and everybody did so well. And I always look forward to the end of the month to see everybody's progress. Like, it's the best feeling to see these group of people that you're with, that you're working towards the same goal, and they're just killing it, like, you feel nothing but, like, you feel proud, you feel excited, you feel accomplished, and you feel like you guys can work and do anything. And Owen, I know Owen's the epitome of that. He, and as well as Tyreek, those two really set the standard. Like, Owen works his butt off. He does so good in these projects. He knows a lot of stuff, especially working with his podcast with you two guys. He knows that he himself has set a standard to what he wants to do for the future, especially working with the Eagles, learning about more sports. He knows what he wants to do. You know what? I want to try to follow that and try to beat that too. But, I got to follow a lot of work behind that as well.
Yeah. And that's a pretty cool thing that you guys get to see. It's just all the progress that you make at the end of the month. And we've seen a lot of Owen's work. And so one really cool thing about like Full Sail and what you guys do is like a lot of your work is measured, and you have the projects that you do, whether it's the videos or the broadcasts or whatever type of, media you guys are making. Going to a normal school, it's like I hand them a test and I get that test back and you see a red A on the top and it's like, wow, that's great, but it's just a piece of paper. But it's so cool that you guys have that digital media that you guys can see in the videos and the broadcasts that you guys create, which is super awesome.
Yeah, it is something really amazing. It's like I said, working in something like this, it's an actual job. Like, you wake up early, you go to school, you learn about this, and you work on it right away. They throw you into the mix. And the best thing about it is that you learn from mistakes, and you can build upon that. And if you go to a regular school for this kind of stuff, you're taking it way too slow, and you're waiting way too long. By then, you know what? It's just, I wasted 4 years for this. But 20 months here throwing into the mix, especially with people who've done this for a long time, that's the benefit of it. And that's what I really appreciate that Full Sail has done for this kind of program.
Absolutely. And I think I really like our group specifically. We all joined at like the beginning of what a regular school year would be at the end of August. And so we're a pretty big group, and I really enjoy that because, yeah, like on the days that we have our finals, everyone's there in the studio. Everyone gets to watch each other do their shows. We're all, super supportive of each other. You get a big round of applause from everybody after you walk off the set, and just, like hanging out together, talking about each other's shows, all of that back and forth is beneficial for all of us. And it's really great chemistry, and it's cool to see how supportive everybody is of each other.
Yeah.
So we got 8 more months together, which is insane. But we've only had 3 finals in the studio so far, but in the next 8 months, we're going to have a lot more time in the studio together, which is super exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, the show is called All Sports All the Time. So we should probably talk about sports a little bit before we let you go, Elijah. I just want to get one answer from each of us. The NFL season is coming up. It'll be 2 days away by the time this episode comes out, which is super exciting. What storyline are you most excited to see play out this year in the NFL? Whoever wants to go first, go for it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start with the flaming hot take.
Perfect.
Flaming hot, because I always have to do one of those. And it's actually that the 49ers are going to be trashed this year. They're going to be horrible. And that might be an understatement. They might, an overstatement. Like, they might even be worse than that. So that's kind of my take. I don't think they're going to be making the playoffs at all. Last place in their division.
Worse than the Cardinals? Cardinals are going to be bad. Even Parker couldn't have that hot.
Yo, you can't say worse than the Cardinals. That's ridiculous.
Second.
It might be
the Cardinals for last.
There you go.
Second.
There we go.
Is it a Brock Purdy thing? Do you think Brock Purdy kind of comes back down to earth?
Brock Purdy is gonna show his true colors. He's Mr. Irrelevant, and he's gonna show that this year. So it's kind of like, I think the Falcons are gonna be better because they have at least a competent quarterback. I don't think the 49ers have one. Okay, so that's my flaming hot take. And then my favorite storyline, obviously I'm a Philly fan. I think it's got to be like Eagles revenge tour type deal. That's kind of like what I'm looking forward to most, because if they don't win the Super Bowl, it's a bust in my opinion for the Eagles this year. If they don't win the Super Bowl, I think this season was a failure. Last year I thought it was a great season, even though they lost the Super Bowl. If they don't win this year, it's just a bust. I'm throwing it out in my opinion. So that for me is what I'm most excited for.
All right, I'll hit next. I'm going to follow Parker. I'm going to go for a flaming hot take as well. I'm not going to say the 49ers are going to suck, but Parker may have a point, Brock Purdy a full season, let's see what happens. But it's Kyle Shanahan, there's great defense. But there might be, if they're going to be bad, there's going to be one reason it's going to be. It's the injury bug season. There's always, at one point, the 49ers are going to have that injury bug season. They do bad, play all these great players. Next year they draft a good, and they're going to be great again. That's that. My flaming hot take, so I'm going to say this, is that the Cardinals are going to go winless this year. They're not going to win a single game. Kyler Murray is going to be cut from the Cardinals, and they're going to draft Caleb Williams with the first overall pick at that point. That's
wow. An 0-17 season. The first ever 0-17 season.
Wow.
Yeah. The Lions went 0-16, but we've never had an 0-17.
That's right. I'm not going to throw any shade to Shane Steichen out there for Arizona. I know he's a great coach, but it's going to struggle this year. They're not going to do good. As for my favorite storyline, I'm going to go off topics. I would say Tampa, but I know a lot of people saying they don't declare Tampa as a great team anymore just because Tom Brady's there. They don't declare as a wild card team. They think they're going to be last. I hate to throw all the shade to the Saints. It's Derek Carr. It's terrible. I think the best storyline this season might be how good the Jets are going to be this year. I respect Aaron Rodgers for his career, in Green Bay. I'm happy we beat them. But my brother said the Packers are going to go to the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. I said, no, Jordan Love's not going to do that. He's not going to do it. Aaron Rodgers is bringing something to this new Jets culture with Robert Saleh. And, they have this new set of where they're going to win games and do good. I even have them beating Buffalo on Monday Night Football. I have them beating Buffalo. I think the Jets are going to do good, and they're going to make the playoffs. From there on, we're going to see a new look Jets. I'm like, no matter what, when they make the playoffs, these Jets for the next few years are going to be totally different from what you see.
Yeah, I love that. And I hope that's true. And I hope Garrett Wilson has an insanely good season. He's had drafted Garrett Wilson.
Just for fantasy purposes.
Yeah.
He's definitely a top candidate for Offensive Player of the Year. A definite top candidate.
Oh,
He could
yeah.
definitely.
Love that. I love that. These are some good takes, Elijah.
Yeah, you said no shade to Jonathan Gannon, the Cardinals head coach. You don't have to throw shade to Jonathan Gannon. We will do that. As Eagles fan, we'll take
that one.
We will throw all the shade at Jonathan Gannon for you.
Have every last bit of it.
Yeah. Listen, it's like this. When it comes to first-year head coaches, like when they're starting a new team, anything happens. They could be good. They could be great. I don't care. That's just the first season. Let's see what the only time I judge them is what they do in the second year. Can you repeat that? Can you overcome that? If you can't do that, then I throw all the shade at you for it. I'll do it for first years. When you're second year, you're gonna get it.
Okay. Second year's the prove it year. You need
Prove
to
it.
people.
Yes.
Speaking of second year being the prove it year, I'll take my storyline, and I think maybe there's some bias since I'm out near Pittsburgh, but I'm excited to watch the Steelers play this season. You know, second year quarterback Kenny Pickett, I think he's got a lot of promise in him. I think, you know, last year they were okay, they weren't great, they weren't awful, but you know, first year quarterback, it's a tough league out there. But I think that, you know, every year there's a quarterback in their second year, they break out, and I think it's going to be Kenny Pickett this year. I think they put some decent weapons around him, and you know, they'll have TJ Watt back this year. They're going to have their solid defense, and quite frankly, I think that they have a solid chance in the division. I think the Bengals will probably win the division, as to be expected, but I mean, I would have the Steelers finishing second over the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens are going to be very good. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know. Their defense isn't as good, and I still just don't think that their offense is that. Like, people are so high on Lamar Jackson, and Lamar is not, like, he's either not going to perform or he's just going to get injured again. I just think injuries, like, I don't know. I'm so low on the Ravens. I don't think.
That was a good spike.
Did Parker draft Lamar?
No, I did. I don't know why he's this angrily.
I don't know why he's so bad.
I didn't.
Oh, wait.
I think the Steelers. I think the Steelers will.
Oh, okay, never mind.
All that he didn't even know.
Yeah, I think the Steelers will probably finish second in the division and get a wild card easily.
Nice.
You know, I can also roll with that take too. You know what, Luke? You make a very good point. I do believe Kenny Pickett is going to have a breakout year. But you know what? I mean, you look at this point. I mean, I know every year it's just Mike Tomlin always finds something to bring the Steelers to the playoffs, or football gods that always give them something. Or Mike Tomlin's always this good. And, you know, you can't always doubt that Steeler defense. You know, they always got something good going on. And you're right. I mean, they might finish over the Ravens. I mean, look at this. Lamar Jackson has always wanted his contract. He got the contract. You know what? But I mean, look at this now. We always look at him as the runner. He's always got these big runs. You know, he's got all this, but he always throws to tight end, never wide receivers. The Ravens always draft wide receivers, helping get better. But it's not. This year, Lamar Jackson can't complain. He's got Odell. He's got Zay. He's got Duvernay. He's got all these guys here, and he's got this great running game. The defense may not be good, but Lamar Jackson cannot complain about this offense for him. If he cannot get this offense going with wide receivers, the entire contract is a bust for him. I do say that it might be Cleveland or Baltimore that might get a run for third. You know, I'm excited to see a full season of Deshaun Watson after the whole thing with him. But I am going to say the Bengals take a division. And you know what? It might be exciting to see if the Steelers get second place and even make it to the playoffs. You know? It might be crazy. But who knows?
Yeah, I would say my storyline that I'm most excited for kind of connects with Elijah's Jets, Luke's Steelers. The AFC in general is going to be wild this year because you've got the AFC West, which is kind of loaded with good teams. They weren't as good as we expected last year. The AFC South is not good. That's the only weak division here. And then the AFC North, every team is in contention to win it. I could see all four of them winning. The AFC East, 3 out of the 4 are in contention to win it. Anyone can win it except the Patriots. They're not winning the East. So basically, I'm just really excited to see how the AFC East itself plays out, because you could see the Bills being the best team in the AFC. You could see the Jets being the best team in the AFC. You could see the Dolphins being the best team in the AFC. I forgot that the Dolphins added Jalen Ramsey. The Dolphins roster is incredibly good on paper. We don't know about Tua and if he can stay healthy and whatnot, but Tua was lighting it up before his concussions last year. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is elite. We know that. And then the Bills are the proven commodity. So I think the AFC East could have 3 ridiculously good teams. And even if they're not all 3 ridiculously good, they're all going to be really entertaining. So I'm just super excited to see how the AFC East plays out this year. And my flaming hot takes, since we're given those, I don't know, you guys can tell me how flaming hot this is, but I think Derek Carr, after his rough season last year, is really being slept on. And the Saints are in a terrible division. The NFC South, both of the Souths this year, very weak. But the Saints don't have much competition in the NFC South. So I think that they're going to be pretty good, and it's going to help Derek Carr get a lot more attention. I don't know if he'll necessarily go off, be an MVP candidate or anything, but I think Derek Carr is going to be a good quarterback of a playoff team in New Orleans.
Interesting. Yeah. And you actually bring up a good point, Owen, because I agree. Go ahead. Oh, well, I was just going to say I agree with you, Owen.
No, Owen, you're not...
I think the timing's a bit off.
I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm getting caught up here. No, Parker, continue what you were saying.
I was just going to say I agree with you, Owen, because that kind of brings up the point in my head is you're right. Mike Tomlin is actually better than Bill Belichick. I never thought about that before, but I actually believe that. I think Mike Tomlin is a better coach than Bill Belichick.
What did that say about, what was I saying about that?
You were saying how the Patriots weren't going to be good this year. I was you're right. Bill Belichick can't lead a team and keep them over 500 without Tom Brady.
Gotcha.
And Mike Tomlin can do that without Tom Brady. So,
yeah, Parker's a Belichick hater.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Owen. I'm going to say, Owen, you're right. The both South divisions are bad, but I think the one thing you don't realize is this. In the NFC South, sure, it's pretty weak, but I'm not sure if people realize that all 4 teams have gotten better. Sure, the Saints are the quarterback with Derek Carr. I respect Carr for his career. The Panthers and the Falcons have significantly gotten better, and the Buccaneers, despite everything they said about them, have had actually a pretty good training camp for what I'm hearing from them. The offense, despite the quarterback situation, is looking pretty good between Mayfield and Trask. Dave Canales has brought something there. And you don't realize is that between the Bucs, Panthers, Falcons, and Saints, all of them are in the top half of the league for easiest schedules. So all these teams could have a contenders for at least 9 wins. All these teams could have at least 9 wins this year. And it could be a really close, tight division. But as for the AFC South, no. I mean, the Colts are not going to be that good. The Texans, with their rookie quarterbacks. The Titans, who knows what the Titans might be. I have the Jaguars just winning this one out. Trevor Lawrence is going to have another great year with Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson's really changed it better than Urban Meyer. And they're going to get Calvin Ridley back after he was gone for 1 year. And I heard he's been absolutely crazy during training camp. And he's got a good connection with Trevor Lawrence. So I see the Jags just pulling this one on top. So that's how it is.
Yeah, that's that's a good point with the NFC South. There's a lot of young talent there, just kind of unproven talent. So it will definitely be entertaining. They're all pretty evenly matched, so it'll be a close divisional race. Probably, a race to 9 wins. If somebody can get to double-digit wins, they can feel good that they're going to win the division. So yeah, it'll definitely be fun to watch. You got a lot of players to keep your eyes on. They might not necessarily have a ton of team success all the time, but it'll definitely be exciting to watch. And yeah, as this is a throwback. People who have been listening to the podcast for a long time. Parker and Luke have some strong opinions on Baker Mayfield. So just warning you as a Bucs fan, I don't think Parker and Luke have any confidence in Baker Mayfield to lead a team. Do you have any? Can you give Parker and Luke any reason to believe in Baker Mayfield?
Baker sucks.
You do not convince us.
We're gonna go. Right, so I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna be a homeboy here for a second. Let me say this. I'm gonna say this at first. I did not want Mayfield to be the starter. I wanted Kyle Trask to be the starting quarterback.
Fair.
Kyle's been playing his butt off between the Jets and the Ravens. He played incredible. He played absolutely incredible. He showed himself that he really decided to be a starter. But you know what? I don't know why the Bucs got Mayfield, but I understand, to break competition in, But I'm gonna say this: I don't need. Sure, Mayfield's only got that one good year. I don't need Mayfield to be the guy. I don't need him to be that. I want him because look, the offense that Dave Canales has with the bootleg and play action, all Mayfield needs to do is just be the game manager. Just give the ball to Rashad White and the running backs, and then give it to Mike Evans, Chris Godwin to get the ball outside, and let the defense do the work. The Bucs, despite what people say, the Buccaneers defense is underrated. We have a lot of great guys there, and last year we were almost top 10 in every single defensive category, despite how bad the offense was with running the ball. That's it. We just couldn't close games. So I don't need Mayfield to be the guy.
I think Parker and Luke are kind of rooting for that. Are you guys rooting for Mayfield to get benched?
Yes.
I don't know how he's still in the league.
Mayfield should have never have even gotten drafted.
I think he just shouldn't have even played college. I think Luke was better.
He actually probably shouldn't have even started playing football. He should have just stuck to basket weaving. I mean, he probably would have even been bad at that. So
I guarantee you he makes good cakes.
Oh. We're so excited for the season to start. I can't believe it feels like the Super Bowl was not that long ago, but I'm so excited for football to be back. Thank you for joining us, Elijah. Really enjoyed having you. Luke, congrats on being a college student now. Good job. We're proud of you. Thank you, Elijah. I'll say go Bucs, and I'm rooting for Baker. I don't think Parker and Luke will say the same. I think they're actively.
I can say go Bucs, but I won't say go Baker.
Okay, that's fair. Take what you can get.
Go Bucs, boo Baker.
Thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, all those things, and we'll see you in 2 weeks with another Sportscaster.